So good day everyone. Before I will proceed to the discussion of our topic, I just want to introduce to you first our group. So we are the group 2 and our topic is all about African dance. So we are 9 members of the group and each of us have assigned tasks to make a report so that you would be able to understand it very well. So I know some of you have a background understanding about African dance. So as we go through the discussion, here are the content. So first, the dance is a reflection of life. Second is West African dances. East and Central African dances. The next one is North African dances, Southern African dances, and also the surviving colonialism. Okay, so the world of dance is yours to enjoy. Dance has existed from time immemorial. It has been part of celebration and rituals, a means of communication with gods and among humans, and a basic source of enjoyment and beauty. So, the word of dance is yours to enjoy. Yes, we enjoy how varied dance can be and the freedom of expression it gives. We can forget about anything that is happening in our daily life, and it brings as happiness. Ang sayaw is part na jud na siya sa when there is a celebration or rituals, and through dancing sad, they will communicate with God and among humans. So dance is a fundamental element of human behavior and has evolved over the years from primitive movement to the earliest civilization of traditional ethnic or folk styles to the classical ballet and modern dance genres popular today. So sugod pa jud sa una no until sa mga sayaw nga popular karon nga na siya. And then the term is broad and therefore not limited to the genres. Since there are a lot of dances and different kinds of dance styles sad ang naa. So that is why the term dance is broad and therefore not limited to any kind of genre. In the 21st century, dance includes ballroom, jazz, tap, aerobics, myriad of the movement activities. The richness of cultural traditions observed in the ethnic or folk dance genre offers the participant as well as the spectator insight into the costumes, geography, dress, and religious nature of a particular people, originally passed by one generation to the next. So, dance will pass on from one generation to the next since the society is changing. Daghan sad nga mga ethnic and folk dances also nga gapadayon sad og evolve, and then a new genre emerge as a way nga para maka-captivate sa katong mga naa sa upper level of the society, and this dance called ballet. So this new form of dance rose quickly in popularity and remains so today. The genre of ethnic or folk dance continues to be an important part of ethnic communities throughout the United States, particularly in large cities. So the genre of ethnic and folk dances continue to be an important part of the part gihapon sa community. So next is the era of dance. So kini ni appear na sa dayon ang modern dance where it contrasts and challenge to the rigorously structural world of ballet, but ang modern dance wala pa siya na consider or na accept as an art form. And yes, modern dance is popular nowadays. I know na popular gini siya karon nga sayaw. It focuses on dancers who interpretations instead of structured step. The world of dance provides a starting point for readers interested in learning about ethnic or folk dance of the world cultures as well as the form of a ballet and modern dance. This series features an overview of the development of this dance genre from historical perspective to a practical one. So, Dr. Karaimo Welsh, kana siya is he explore in detail the varied dances of the world's second largest continent, which is ang Africa. Si Welsh is divide niya ang continent into 4 areas, which is the West, East and Central, the North, and also the South. And notes that the late anthropologist or a dancer nga si Pearl Primus said as eloquently dance is the soul of Africa. It is the foundation of all the arts and weaves of a tale about the daily lives of the people. So, dance in Africa is a pragmatic part of life. It celebrates the everyday events and occurrences in the lives of its people. For example, rites of passage, the harvest, marriage, birth, death, and historical events. So, dance is a political, religious, and social expression, and the quality of one's character is often cited through performance. From the mass dances to the West, to the Muslim influenced dances of the North, to the Heroes Sarima of the South, the dance remains reflection of life in Africa. So dance has changed throughout the years, and yet it has survived from colonialism and wars in the present day. Dance remains the soul of Africa. There is a quote from Frederick Nietzsche. So in the song and dance, man expresses himself as a member of a higher community. He forgets how to walk and speak, and he is on the way into flying into the air and dancing. His very gestures expresses enchantment. So here, George Balanchine, one of the 20th century's most famous choreographers and a co-founder of the New York City. So he discussed about the definition of dance. We evolved the following description. So dance is an expression of time and space using the control of movement and gestures to communicate. So dance is a way of communication. Dance is essential to the human being's impression and emotion. Every time we shake someone's hands, um, lift in a toast, wave goodbye, or upload a perform, we are doing a form of a dance. So that dance is an art form invented by beings to express or convey emotion. So dance sad is isa sad sa makakuan is kanang when we convey our emotion. So through dance, we can interpret our emotions, and then dance is a profound. Dance is a profound, it's because it is very great and intense. Dance is a reflection of life. So Africa is a continent with 54 countries and thousands of cultures and languages. Dance in Africa is a holistic part of society. It is not truncated or separated as an entity in and of itself. Dance is used to facilitate all phenomena in most African societies. All commemorations and events are documented in the dance. The births, deaths, weddings, coronations, and rites of passage are just some of occasions for which dance is performed. Other events that dance chronicles are celestial occurrences, harvest times, fertility rites, and healing circles. So, makaingon jud ta na ang Africa is kinabuhi gid nila ang pagsayaw since it affect their holistic being. Through dance, they shared moments in which they could unite them. The kinds of dances vary but generally fall under the following categories. So, first, the stilt dances, mass dances, military, war and martial arts, rites of passage dances, harvest dances, story and myth dances, social and ceremonial dances, funeral dances, ancient court dances, work dances, healing dances, religious and spiritual dances, and national and ethnic identity dances. So, some of these categories overlap and are not mutually exclusive. So, those events nga, that can happen at the same time. Under the categories of dances is first the stilt dance. So, stilt dances are performed throughout thirst. A dancer balances on long wooden stilts that vary in height. The stilts are covered with the same fabric of the dancer costume to give the illusion that the dancer has extremely long legs. Even the stilts, the dancer performs various acrobatic feats such as jumping rope. In addition, stilt elama are often seen as the protectors of a village, as their heightened appearance lends itself to being the village guardian. So, stilt dances is when they are feeling of needing or they want something. So, mo ni siya ilahang ginasayaw. And then, also, ang kanyang stilt dari in height. So, taas siya. Nagamit sila og katong wooden stilt. And then, in addition, stilt ilama is mo ni siya ang katong protector sa ilahang village as their heightened appearance lends itself being the village guardian. So the next one is the mass dances performed throughout Africa are used in a variety of ways, including warding of evil spirit or kanang to protect with evil spirits, storytelling suggesting supernatural or mystical power, spreading good feelings, honoring African deities or kanang honoring their guides and goddesses, and or embodying animal, human, or spiritual figures. Some mass dances have a figure who is disguised with a painted face and anti-body covering, while others use a facial mask to elaborate headdress. The next is the rites of passage dances or initiation dances, often represent the child or adolescent's transition or even the transformation into early manhood or womanhood. The dances range from detailed footwork all the way to the swinging of the hips. So, the aesthetic qualities of the dances vary greatly by ethnic group. These dances often are more than just figurative representations, and for many ethnic groups suggest an actual change in status from childhood to manhood or womanhood. So ang kining the rites of passage dances or the initiation dances is more on figurative representation where something that is typical, ideal rather than literal and particular. So something that embodies an abstract concept. The social and ceremonial dances perform in both traditional and contemporary setting, such as nightclubs. So say social dances are performed to popular music, which often has political and ethnic themes, and for a pure entertainment. So see social dance category category of dances that have a social function, of course, and then it is intended for participation rather than performance. Cause also, the ceremonial dances are performed by men and women and at various celebrations and festivals. So it is because ceremonial is dancing to show praise or to commemorate important events. So funeral dances, dancing at burial rites, so performed throughout Africa, although some ethnic groups do not have dancing at burial rites. So naiuban nga wala dili sad sila ga sayaw. Then the dances that are performed signify the ethnicity, gender, and social status of the deceased. The dress that is worn or ang ilang ginasuot by each ethnic group entails with a wide range of color, texture, and the ornamentation. Next is the court dances, often rooted in pre-colonial eras in the kingdoms of both male and female African rulers. Unfortunately, little is known about them because of um, European colonization. So court dances is often tell stories or those religious stories. Okay, so work dances, figuratively a man or a woman carrying out various occupational tasks or katong na mga trabaho. So such as the hammering of the blacksmith, the action of meat sellers, or the work of fishermen casting nets and using spears and fish traps. Okay, so healing dances performed to purify and clean an individual or community and people. Often the dances evoke an African deity who the people identified as possessing the power to heal. So naay mga sayaw no nga kuan para kanang dali maayo. Next is the religious and spiritual dances are designated as those that are specifically performed pay homage to a deity. So praise dancers are use their bodies to express the word or the spirit of God. So next is the national and ethnic dances are designated as those that show allegiance to one's national and ethnic background and are performed to songs that speak to national strength and loyalty. So the ethnic dance or the national dance, any dance form which can be identified as originated with an ethnic culture and expressing the movement aesthetic of the culture, that is the national and aesthetic dances. So all African dances can be used for transcendence and transformation purposes. So transcendence is the term usually associated with possession, and trance dance is the conduit for transcendent activities. Dance enables to initiate or practitioner to progress or travel through several altered states, thereby achieving communication with an ancestors or deity and receiving valuable information that he or she can relay please to the community. Repetition is the key to this process as it guides to initiates or dancers through the process of the ceremony. The name a movement is repeated, the greater the level of intensity and the closer the dancer gets the designated deity or the ancestors. Um, One of the examples of transcendence is just talking to God. So, through dancing, mo na ang ilahang ginabuhat sa mga sa Africa. And then, um, transcendence is the extraordinary or beyond human experience. And also transformation, it means to change from one state or phase to another, from the word itself, transform. African dance can be classified by the following style: the traditional, neo-traditional, and stylized. So traditional dancers are those dancers that embody the culture, values of a particular society, are acknowledged as being of that society, and adhere to specific costumes and rituals. Traditional dances, an example of this is folk dance, a dance which is developed by people that reflect the life of the people of a certain country or a region. So next is the neo-traditional dances, are those dances that are created in the spirit or likeness of traditional dances but do not necessarily come from the particular society, and as a result are not bound at all the aesthetic and cultural rules of the society. So the neo-traditional dances is kanang honor the spirit of traditional dance but do not replicate the ritual or ceremony of which it is a part. Then such dance are step away from traditional dance forms and preserve those movements of the traditional dance form. Then next is the stylized or classical dance. Generally can be defined as representing the best aesthetic ideals of a particular society, recognition of its dance by the masses, and formal or institutionalized instruction either in the court by private instruction or through communal learning. So in stylized dance, its purpose of a dance suit was to accompany actual dancing, but over time the dances become stylized, and then this stylized dance is the music was intended for listening rather than dancing. So, dancing in Africa developed as an essential, functional part of life. So, ingon ko kaganina nga kinabuhi na sa Africa ang pagsayaw, and then dance throughout the world is an effective means of communication. Also, I have said earlier nga ang dance is a means of a communication, and it is no different than Africa. Through dance, a group can regulate or monitor the social behavior of individuals by expressing approval or disapproval. The dance is part of the cultural expression. The dance is one of the world's oldest forms. Dance is cherished as it is performed. Dance as a dynamic, transfer energy and consuming space in a way that fires and intrigues the imagination of the audience. And then also dance is exciting. It is physical and it is almost always inseparable from music. Yes, dance is traditionally a communal and social activity. Rituals and ceremonies are often centered to the dance. So, the Zulus South Dance are one dam group who use parts of the bodies to express themselves, known for the foot stamping movements. Zulus would generate a strong force that they use to intimidate their opponents before a battle. So the traditional dance of the Zulu people of South Africa. So muna siya no ang Zulu's South Dance. So known for their foot stamping movements and also their expressiveness and power. So we are now on the late anthropologist or the dancer, which is si we see Pearl Primus, spoke eloquently about African dance, that dance is the soul of Africa. It is the foundation of all of the arts, and it is weaves a tale about the daily lives of the people. In other words, African dance facilitates all phenomena in Africa. Then African dance is a multidimensional, multi-perspective discipline that has impacted many areas in the humanities. So si Geoffrey Gorer's Africa Dancer, written in 1934, was one of the first book to focus on African dance. So katong Geoffrey George's Africa Dances. So si Joren chronicles his travels through Africa with remarkable description and detail, and the book is invaluable in this regard if one understands the time and context in which it was written. We are now on Pearl Pramus, Emissary of African Dance. So, si Pearl Pramus is a dancer, choreographer, and anthropologist. She is born in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago in 1919 but moved to the New York City with her family when she was 2 years old. So, um, although she was not initially interested in dance, she instead aspired to be a physician. She She had several relatives who are musically inclined, including her grandfather, who was a Shantai musician from Ghana. So, earned a job with the National Youth Administration where she got her start in dance. So, also, she earned a scholarship from the New Dance Group and then modern dance luminaries as Martha Graham and Charles Whitman. So, nag-study si Pearl Pramus under the modern dance luminaries as Martha Graham and Charles Whitman. And then on February 1943, dance debut at the 92 Street YMHA or the Young Men's Hebrew Association, which is where she thrilled the audience and critics alike. During the next year, she performed at the Cafe Society downtown and at Carnegie Hall before embarking on a trip of the southern United States. So, she created a repertoire that include African, West Indian, and African American influenced dances. So she inspired by the spiritual and folk songs of the slavery period through the Harlem Renaissance and up to the social unrest that continued during 1940s. So she learned the language of the drum in order to know when to leap and when to crawl. She participated in dances of welcome peace, birth, marriage, and death. She learned what she called the inner conversation of muscles. And then she opened the Pearl Pramus School of Primal Dance in New York City. So, iyahang gi-open ang iyahang school. The Revelations and Blind Beggar Woman was returned to the United States. She opened the Pearl Primal School, katokang ingon of primal dance in New York City, and focused on developing performance based on her experiences in Africa, such as katong experts from African Journey, Revelations, Blind Beggar Woman. Muna iyahang mga nangabuhat. And then Pramus African experiences culminated in Dark Rhythms, which has a full-length program that explained and demonstrate the culture of the African diaspora. Diaspora was further promoted by Pramus in such performance as Life Crisis, Wedding, and Fanga. So Pearl Pramus Africa in story, legend, song, and thought. So the Star of Africa, so she So throughout the next couple of decades, Pramus focused on documenting, stylizing, and perpetuating African dance. So yeah, Pramus won numerous awards for her outstanding achievements as a dancer, choreographer, and anthropologist, including the Star of Africa from the Republic of the Liberia, and also the Distinguished Service Awards from the American Anthropologist Association and the National Medal of Arts. And then Pramus died in October 1994 in New Rochelle, New York City.
The connection between the character and skill is an important one, is indicative of the holistic way in which many Africans see each other. Behavior is not isolated from other spirits in one life, such as performance. It is incongruous to the traditional African worldview that one can be evil and dance well. The process in African dance is just as important as the end of product. Perfection is not ideal in African dance. Sa African dance, ang importante nga mahuman ang product, which is the product is dance and ma-deliver ang message ato. And culmination of that skill match with musician rhythms and his or her understanding of the overall event that makes the performance admirable or memorable. Dogons men of Mali perform a elaborate dance in which tickets with tall helmet masks in the large circular pattern along the ground. The process and the skill of the men illustrate the Dogons' dependence on the rain for the harvesting of crops. This dance is a appeal or prayers for rain. African dance in the context of African culture is the most transitionary and floated of the arts and presents documentation because of its interior and FM qualities. The dance was demands of occasions and dictated. The length of a dance is not be determined, and the scene is usually contained in our ritual, festival, or ceremony. The duration of the dance is not important. The introduction of African art form to the audience of Europe and American in early 20th century changed the way in which Europeans look at their own art and the cultures of African people. Pablo Picasso. Among the other plastic artists adopted the African abstraction in the early part of the 20th century. African dance has been preferred as the world's African nations gained their independence in the late 1950s and 1960s, and their first act was to create national dance companies that will be showcase the best of their dance, and they send their companies abroad to promote the African culture. In 1884, the Berlin Conference was held with the intention of ending the slave trade and promoting the humanitarian efforts in Africa. Change and transition. Many African dance has become multifunctional as a result of urbanization and secularization. Rural areas is remained to citadels of our culture because of the area often home to some of the oldest members of the community. The rural areas have not been as exposed to outside influences as the city and metropolitan areas, thus they are able to retain the cultural practices. The rural areas also provide an environment that encourages the learning, teaching, and practicing of the dance. Dance and their meanings. First is Mandrami, wedding dance, dance of celebration, and rise of the passage dance. Second is Mongoyo, military training, dance of the humanized festivals and competitions. Third is Ural, and rise of the Modabi nomads, the counting dance, and celebration of the New Year. Music and dance in one and the same. We are almost a nation of dancers and musicians and poets, remarked Olendia Okwano, an African intellectual and explorer who lived in the 18th century. The regional ceremonies use the music and dance to help people to make spiritual connections to their ancestors. The late Kenentau scholar teacher Albert Opoko explained its organic relationship with music and dance to the Africa. He writes, is a language and a mode of expression that articulates the special and real-life experiences in rhythmic sequence to musical and poetic stimuli. Just to say, those who drum, dance, and clap and sing together are the children of love, and the drum is their mother. And also, according to Opoko, the drumming, singing, clapping play an equally important role in the drama of African community life. They set the scene, create the mood and the atmosphere. For the dancer to interpret the music through a symbolic gesture, bodily movements, and facial expression. Dancing and drumming are rich and artistic activities that play central roles in many traditional cultures in Africa. Also, African dance and drum tradition are two distinct expressions of the same entity rhythm. Both in dancing and drumming require accompaniment. Dancing demands physical involvement, while drumming demands humans participate. Soba dance. Soba is the sum total of the movement of the rhythms. This particular dance is from Senegal, a country in West Africa. It is also traditional dance, meaning that it is generational and recognizable by the community. Sorba is a rite of passage dance in the young women who were making a transition from girlhood to womanhood originally performed it. This transition has more to do with preparation for marriage and motherhood than for anything else. Also, the community recognized Sorba by its rhythm. Gender issues. Women use dance to convey modesty, grace, and demurrage, often to express gender identity and additional throughout Africa. A woman's ability to bear children is essential to their identity, and this ability is reflected in the numerous initiation dances that usher her into adulthood. Aesthetics. Dances are polyphonic, meaning that many rhythms are occurring at the same time and the dancer are able to dance to those rhythms and to switch back and forth between the rhythms without missing developments. Circles dances. The circles is the one of the earliest spatial forms. They emphasize the place on circles and holistic unity in African society must be presented in the form of the dance that chooses to express itself. The circle dance is traditionally inclusive of spectators and it is the sum total of its performers and spectators. Even when African dance is performed on the Western stage, the dance is culminates and audience and outer frame of the circle.